Buongiorno. I am reporting to you live from Frosinone at the Coppa Italia, which basically means the Italian Barrel Racing Championship. And this is the horse that I'll be riding. His name is Black Magic, who I just met a couple of days ago. So the point of this video was to talk to you about how to jump ride a horse, which in America you might not run into this very often unless your horse gets hurt, or maybe you're just borrowing a friend's horse because the race is something that's super special and you want to move up or try something out. Even if you're interested in purchasing a horse and you go try one, you'll have to jump ride them when you get there to try them. So Black Magic was an absolute dream to ride, but I've actually jump ridden a lot of horses through my past. So I was a rodeo queen, and as you may or may not know, when we show up to the rodeo, we are handed a horse from a stock contractor, and we have approximately 30 seconds to get on them and go full speed with a flag in an arena full of people. So there are a couple things that I do just to ensure success. That's what I wanted to share with you in case you are a rodeo queen or in case you wanted to jump ride a barrel horse sometime in your future. So the very first thing that I do is ask the person who owns or rides or trains the horse everything about them. So I try to find out their age. If they are a stud like him, that means a couple different things. You've got to handle them a little differently. You've got to pay attention when you're around mares and really keep a hold of them because they have huge personalities. I ask all about the equipment. If they don't know what kind of bit that they typically run in, I just peer into their mouth and I make sure to get a look at it so that I understand what my equipment is going in. The other thing that I do is I take a look at all of the tack. Magic is so cute, he's so full of personality. But I take a look at my tack, I check everything from a safety aspect but also a function aspect. So I want my stirrups to fit, and you can actually figure out a pretty good ballpark before you get on. You can basically take the stirrup and put it in your armpit, and if it touches the very top of your finger where that seam is from the seat onto the fender, if you do that often enough, you'll start to feel what that length is supposed to be like, and you can adjust your stirrups before you even swing a leg over. Because a lot of times in the rodeo queen world, you don't have time to adjust it. So I always err a little bit shorter, just in case. Having a long stirrup can be super dangerous. If you can't touch, you're more apt to lose a stirrup, but if your stirrups are too short, it's just uncomfortable. You can still make do. So I always err on the shorter side if I'm not sure. And then the other thing that I do is just check the girth. It's up to you to know if your cinch is tight before you swing a leg over. And also, like, if it's pinching them, I always give them a couple steps before I actually get on. So that is in the most fast scenario where you're just jumping on. If you have a lot of time, like with Magic, I had a couple of days, so 3 days to feel him out. But that very first ride, when everyone's watching you and you want to do a good job and you just want to show this horse versus make him fit your style, you want to quickly adapt to how he is. So one thing that I do before I even get on is kind of give them a little bump on the rein, see if they have any kind of feel. I'll put a little bit of pressure on the side, see if I can move his hips at all. And you can do all of this from the ground before you even get on. And then once I get on, the very first thing, brake check. So collect his head, ask him to move back, and just feeling how he responds to the bit and how sensitive he is give you a lot of indication how he's going to turn and how he's going to act in the arena. So if you have no brakes at a walk or at a standstill, you probably won't have brakes in the arena. And then the next thing that I do just at a walk is to get flexion in their head, so laterally and vertically, but I, for the most part, want to see how bendy they are going around the barrel, just with their head, no leg. And then I start moving into the leg and the body and see if I can get them to move off of pressure. Can I move their rib cage? Can I move their hindquarters? And can I move their shoulders independently? So when you're jump riding, it is not your job to fix or change the horse that you're getting on. You are adapting to that animal. So you're trying to figure out their style so that you can be as quiet as possible in the jockey seat and just show their true ability and potential. So with Magic, I've had a couple runs, and you can see the progression from day 1 to day 2. And on day 3, we didn't run at all because we have 3 runs coming up this weekend. So I'm going into my first run having only 2 practices basically with him, and my overall goal is just to be super quiet and push him into the turn, but continually keep his nose just to flex him around those barrels. And if you've watched some of my practices, you've seen that on our second barrel, we tend to get a little bit wide, and I think that that's truly due to how I am as a jockey on Taz, where I just ride in there pretty much holding his shoulder up, and when we get to my spot, I sit down and let him turn. So Magic, he needs a little bit different style. He needs more bend going in, and he needs help on the backside, where Taz will just, he's very rady and wants to turn it immediately, where Magic, he needs preparation, shape, and help on the backside to close and finish that barrel. So I'm excited to see how it goes today. I'm feeling pretty confident going in. Having minimal time and experience with this horse is something that I'll have to overcome, but as a barrel racer, it will help you so much to challenge your mind and see how you can fit this horse. And then think ahead too, if he was my horse, would I change anything? Is there something that he's doing, or is it me? Typically, a lot of times when we look in the mirror, that is the problem. We aren't communicating to them effectively enough. And it is interesting being in Italy, how we communicate with each other, because I don't know Italian. Maybe 1 in 10 people here have some concept of English, and we can very limitedly communicate, but it goes the same for horses. They don't know English, so you have to learn and adapt what they know and speak in their language. And that is fluent throughout the entire horse community, whether you are from France, Italy, Europe, America, we all speak horsemanship language. So that is the challenge for today. I'm super excited to see how we do. Magic is an absolute dream, and he's so cute. We're really getting along well, but tune in, especially to my Instagram, to see how we do this week. All right, thanks guys.
Move on to the